Welcome to the Catch-Up. We're Awesome Active Writers, and this is our podcast all about football.
Hi, I'm Kayla with NFL Games.
I'm MJ with NFL Players.
I'm Georgie with Top 5 Plays of the Week.
I'm Kyle, talking about fantasy football.
I'm Chris with NFL Behind the Scenes News, and stick around after the update to see if you can figure out our wild card quiz.
Now let's get right into the NFL games. The NFL must-see game of the week was Cowboys versus Falcons. Cowboys won 40-39. Cowboys started off the game with 3 fumbles back to back, down 20-0, and then came back and won with a field goal. That was crazy. The blowout game of the week was Packers versus Lions. Packers won 42-21. Lions have made NFL history with 4 consecutive games lost after having a double-digit lead. The what the heck game of the week, Raiders versus Saints. Raiders won 34-24. An unexpected win for the Raiders against the high-ranked Saints. My favorite game of the week was Seahawks versus Patriots. Seahawks won 35-30. This was a crazy game, and they have been rivals ever since the Super Bowl interception that made the Patriots win. The Seahawks took the lead and had to hold the Patriots off in the final minutes to win. And here's MJ with NFL Players of the Week.
Thanks, Kayla. Time for top 3 NFL players this week. The best QB week 2 was Dak Prescott, throwing 34 for 37, racking up 450 yards and 1 touchdown, as well as 3 rushing touchdowns. Holy cow. Best wide receiver, Calvin Ridley got 7 receptions with 10 targets, racking up 109 yards and 2 touchdowns. Best running back, Aaron Jones with 18 attempts, racking up 168 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns, as well as 4 receptions, getting 68 yards and another reception touchdown. Holy cow. That's it, folks, for NFL players this week. Tell us what you think at Awesome Actors and Writers YouTube. Just comment on our The Catch-Up, Season 2, Episode 2, and we'll listen. Time to head into the training room for breaking news. This week, 7 torn ACLs. That means they're out for the season, and 3 are top players in the league. Now, onto some other injuries. Jimmy Garoppolo with a high ankle sprain, Drew Lock with a sprained AC joint, and Christian McCaffrey with another high ankle sprain. Time for most notable injuries. Nick Bosa and Saquon Barkley, both with torn ACLs, are out for the season. 2 of some really great players out for the season. Is this a coincidence, or is it not? Find out in the debate. Now on to Georgia with top 5 plays of the week.
Alright, thank you, MJ. So, at the number 5 spot, we have Baker Mayfield, a 50-yard touchdown to Odell Beckham. Number 4, Dak Prescott, 70-yard pass to Amari Cooper. This wasn't a touchdown, but it was a one-handed catch. Number 3, Aaron Jones running an 80-yard touchdown. This was a really long run. Number 2, Josh Allen to rookie wide receiver Gabriel Davis, diving catch for a touchdown. At the number 1 spot, we have Raheem Mostert on the first play of the game running an 80-yard touchdown. Wow.
Thanks, Giorgio. Top 3 fantasy point leaders this week. Aaron Jones with 44 points. MJ talked about him earlier. He had a great game and a crazy game for the Packers. Russell Wilson with 43 points. I had him on my team, and he did great for me. Dak Prescott with 41 points. I also had him on my other team. He also did great. And Josh Allen also with 41 points. And I also had him on my team, but I didn't start him. Top 3 disappointments this week. Julio Jones with 4 points. I started him. Will Fuller with 0 points. Let's see. Giorgio is going crazy over that one. And Gronk with 0 points, which is very surprising for a great tight end. Place to start. Terry McLaurin against the Browns. The Browns are a very interesting defense. They do good one week and then they're bad the other week. I think that he'll do good with Dwayne Haskins throwing to him. DK Metcalf against the Cowboys. He's one of my favorite wide receivers this year, and I think that he could definitely do something against the Cowboys after they just allowed 39 points against the Falcons. That's crazy. Some players to sit. Robert Woods against the Bills. Robert Woods last week only had 1 touchdown. It was a rushing touchdown, and other than that, he had nothing else. And he's going against the Bills this week, and it's not going to be good for him. Marvin Jones Jr. against the Cardinals. The Cardinals have a top, not if the top, defense in the league against pass catchers, and I think that he's just going to do terrible. As MJ said earlier, there have been so many injuries, which leads to a lot of plays to pick up. So we have Mike Davis. He is a starter now because Christian McCaffrey's out. Devontae Freeman, the Giants just picked up because Saquon's out. Jay McKinnon. Raheem Mostert got hurt, and now he's going to be lead back for that team. Darrell Henderson has been kind of a starter this year for the Rams, but now he's for sure a starter with Cam Akers hurt. Russell Gage, because he's been doing great for the Falcons this season. Julio Jones has been the decoy, and Calvin Ridley's just been the other great player on the other side of the field. And so Russell Gage has also been getting some catches. Joshua Kelly. The Chargers have been giving Joshua Kelly a lot of handoffs, also with Austin Eckler, and I think that he'll do great, so pick him up. Dalton Schultz. Blake Jarwin tore his ACL, and Dalton Schultz will be great to pick up. And Jonnu Smith came off of a 2-touchdown game and is just doing great right now. That's it for fantasy football. Now on to Chris with NFL behind-the-scenes news.
I know I'll be making adjustments to my fantasy team this week. Thanks, Kyle. In the rivalry of Ohio's 2 NFL teams, the Cincinnati Bengals and my favorite team, the Cleveland Browns, Joe Burrow threw his first NFL touchdown, and let me tell you, it was a dime. NBA star LeBron James was watching the Week 2 opener on Thursday Night Football and was equally impressed with Burrow's performance. King James tweeted, "Burrow is special. He has the it for sure." Week 2 was brutal for NFL players. In record-breaking numbers, there were 21 injuries, with 7 of them ending up as ACL tears. Ouch. You can make an all-star team, an absolute god squad, with all these injured players. Jimmy Garoppolo, CMC, and Saquon at running back. Michael Thomas, Devontae Adams at wide receiver, George Kittle at tight end, just to name a few. New England Patriots running back James White was inactive in Sunday's matchup against the Seattle Seahawks. A car accident resulted in the tragic death of his father and critically injured his mother. Many teammates and former teammates from around the league tweeted in support. Russell Wilson, who played with White at Wisconsin, even used his post-game interview to offer condolences. Let's all join in a moment of silence as we honor the life of Tyrone White. Thank you.
That's it for NFL football update. Now time for the debate. Today's topic for the debate: what teams are surprising so far? Are all injuries just happening as a coincidence? Or is it just because there wasn't a preseason?
I think that the team that is surprising me so far, and also some teams that are disappointing me, are the Cardinals, because the Cardinals aren't really surprising me because I know that they gained DeAndre Hopkins over the offseason, but Kyler Murray is looking great right now, and their defense is playing lockdown right now, and they're just playing like an actual football team, and so they're surprising me going undefeated in their first 2 games, but that division is definitely going to give them a challenge. Some teams that are disappointing me are, I feel like I can't say the Texans because they've played the Chiefs and the Ravens so far, and that's just unfair for them.
Oh, God.
But I feel like in those games, they didn't really put up a challenge. I think they lost by double digits in both of those games. Just stop and take a second to become a team like the Cardinals are doing right now and try to win some games.
So teams that are surprising me are really the Raiders. Look at them. 2-0 with Derek Carr as their starting quarterback. I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. They just beat the Saints, okay? The Saints are also very disappointing. I am not proud of the Saints. So one of my friends is a Saints fan, so I feel for him.
A team that has been doing really bad lately? San Francisco.
It may be just not Well, okay. Well, they got injured. Like their whole team, their whole lineup was injured. So can't really blame it on that.
Still, though, like, I mean, so much for Super Bowl, you know?
I know, right?
And the Chiefs to the Chargers.
Yo, I think the Chargers, they're doing insane.
Oh my God, Justin Herbert in his debut, 1 rushing touchdown and 1 passing touchdown, leading the Chiefs in the freaking fourth quarter hasn't happened in freaking years. I mean, come on.
I mean, it's just
Wait, it hasn't happened in years.
Well, the Chiefs haven't been like behind in points for like a couple seasons.
Yeah.
Like in the
Chiefs-
fourth quarter.
No. Oh, in the fourth quarter, because I know that they said in the Super Bowl how they were at halftime always losing and then ended up coming back in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, the Chiefs weren't doing so good with the Chargers. I mean,
I don't know. I think the
I don't
Chargers are just playing great, honestly. They're going to put up a fight.
Oh, and also I want to say another disappointing team are the Falcons, because if you go up by 20 points and end up losing after the team started off the game with 3 straight fumbles, you just don't know how to play football.
Yeah.
And also, not to mention, I don't know if anyone saw the clip of the Falcons not picking up the onside kick. They kicked it, and they could pick it up. They didn't have to wait for 10 yards. The Cowboys did, and they just decided to leave it there on the floor and let it go 10 yards before the Cowboys picked it up. And they ended
The
up
biggest disappointment was when Julio Jones dropped the touchdown pass from the other wide receiver. Russell Gage, I think.
I saw that clip.
I'm not sure. But anyway, Julio Jones dropped the ball. Like, Julio Jones.
I'd like to point out, just back to the Chargers, I think they're doing really good without Phillip Rivers. Like after their loss of Phillip Rivers, I didn't think they would be doing as good, like losing their starter quarterback. But yeah, they're doing a lot better than I thought.
Time to go into the injuries, guys.
About to say.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, the preseason, I don't think that NFL players got as much warm-up time as they usually do, you know?
Yeah, I feel like the preseason, they need to have the preseason. And that is why all these injuries are happening.
the
only thing that makes me think it's not preseason is because as an NFL star, you don't just sit around doing nothing in the summer. So it might just be a coincidence because they still worked out. They still did, stuff. So
I think that it's coincidence because the entire offseason, not the entire offseason, but leading up to the first game, they had a month, maybe a month and a half of training camps. I mean, you can see Hard Knocks. They're going crazy out there. It's even more than preseason. If it's because they didn't have a preseason, it's because, I don't know, there's no way it has to be coincidence because the training camps are way more crazy than the preseason. And honestly, losing the preseason wasn't that much to the players.
I think diving straight into it without a preseason definitely was. I think it was a little bit of the reason, but wasn't the whole reason that they were getting injured.
It was a big risk. I mean,
like, I feel like it helps people like get ready for the season and get ready for like what they're going through. But like, honestly, I feel like it's more of a coincidence.
Another reason I think it's a coincidence is because in preseason, it's really just because so you could put in your backups and see how they play. Because you never see a starting player like Saquon or George Kittle playing an entire preseason game or even any time in a preseason game.
Right after your regular NFL update for your wild card quiz up next.
Today's wild card quiz is all about basketball playoffs.
Here's an interesting fact about basketball playoffs. They play multiple games in a series, and first to win 4 out of the 7 games takes the series and heads to the next round.
Fun quiz for all you basketball fans. Who is the biggest NBA player in the playoffs right now? A. Michael Jordan. B. Jamal Murray, or C. Kawhi Leonard?
Which are the last 4 teams in the 2020 NBA playoffs? A. Lakers, Nuggets, Heat, and Celtics. B. Blazers, Clippers, Lakers, and Bulls. C. Warriors, Heat, Celtics, and Bulls.
Many of you know who is the top prospect in the NBA draft. A. Anthony Edwards. B. R.J. Hampton. Or C. Michael Che.
Check your answers in the description section of this episode. We'll have more wildcard quizzes for you next week.
Thanks for listening to The Catch-Up.